Hello, it's Alex from Carrington's in Kingston upon Thames, the only transparent agent in the area, and I'm here today with a bit of an educational video. As you can see, I've taken time to draw these unbelievable graphics behind me. I wanted to really try and simplify offers and people's understanding of offers, both buyers and sellers, and just trends that I'm noticing at the moment. I deal with a predominant amount of the offers that come into the office, and recently I've seen a real influx of buyers who are in a position where they're not on the market and need to sell a property, or on the market and not yet under offer. And these are what we call incomplete offers, incomplete chains. I've categorised this for everyone so that you can understand. When people are offering on the value of a property, we typically have 5 major categories of buyers. You've got cash, chain-free with a mortgage, under offer in a completed chain. So for example, that would be someone looking to buy a house that's just sold their flat to a first-time buyer. That would be an example. On the market, not under offer, so someone who's listed their property to sell but doesn't have any offers and is in a complete chain. And then probably the most dangerous of all, those who are not on the market and need to sell. Now, typically we find, as you see here, at the lower end of value, you've got your cash, chain-free people who like to sort of talk about their position. In the middle, we typically find your under-offer completed chain. And then at the higher end of the spectrum, in terms of values and offers made, we have on the market, not under offer, and not on the market, need to sell. And the reason I want to speak to this today is this causes a huge stagnation in the market. Buyers and sellers that accept offers from people who are in an incomplete chain, it's extremely dangerous. And if you're not being told by your agent what can go wrong and the possibilities that lie with that, hopefully this video will just give you a little bit of insight. I can give you a real life example. I'm currently dealing with a property where we have 2 properties in the chain. And if you come over to my other board here, I've got a chain example. So we're dealing with property number 2 and property number 3 in this instance. And this person is buying this person's home, they're selling to someone who's also selling, and they're selling to a first-time buyer. So again, we've got the bottom of the chain to start here, and this is where you're reliant on someone who's in rented, has cash, or is chain-free. So it's a first-time buyer buying this flat here, this person's buying a house, they're buying another house, and they've had an offer accepted on this property up here, or rather they've been given an indication of the level that the offer needs to be at, and there's about £15,000-20,000 adrift. And we figured out the reason that this person needs to achieve this figure is prior to any of this being completed behind them, they had already gone and agreed an offer on a property at the end of the chain. So they put this offer forward on the basis of an understanding of hypotheticals of what they were going to achieve on their own property, and subsequently what's happened is the journey of 3 properties later, which is probably 3 to 6 months worth of work, all of these people discovering their actual market value, it's allowed this person to offer X amount on this property, and X amount isn't enough for them to be able to go forward with the hypothetical that they've offered. And this happens time and time again in chains, for several reasons. Number one, agents aren't held to account, overvaluing properties, giving unrealistic figures, and people are basing those expectations off of those figures. How often do we hear my property is going to be incredibly easy to sell, whether or not that comes to fruition? And the difficulty is of accepting any offer when you're not in a completed chain is you'll often have it caveated with give us 4 weeks to sell our property, or give us 6 weeks to sell our property. Now, by the time you've done that as a homeowner, if 6 weeks passes, best case scenario, they achieve exactly what they want, the deal goes ahead. More commonly to happen would be 6 weeks in, they realise that they haven't quite got the price that they wanted to achieve, and the market's offered them a certain figure less. Now, at that point, you as the homeowner who have accepted that offer, you are stuck with one buyer who has all the power of negotiation and is being honest with you, but telling you that they cannot afford the offer that they previously agreed with you. And coming back to our value board here, this is why you need to be super mindful that people that aren't on the market that need to sell, or are on the market and not yet under offer, if you ever receive an offer from anyone in that position, take it with a pinch of salt, knowing that they're probably at the higher end of the value range that we find people offer at, and with good reason. The longer a transaction takes to go through, the higher likelihood it is to fall through. Another thing that I wanted to bring up with chains, and again, it's not to say that chains can't happen, that chains can't work. We sell with chains all the time, but understanding that a good agent needs to be able to communicate with all of these people and keep a really tight level of transparency communication for all parties, because you've got 5 different parties here with different timescales and all trying to move towards the same goal, that it only takes one of these deals to fall through. So the probability of your offer falling through has a higher chance, because very basic math, if the average property, 1 in 3 fall through from offer accepted. You're applying that across the board times 5, and with probability that just drastically goes up. If person number 2 loses their buyer, the whole chain falls apart, and you're in a position where you need to then remarket and resell your property. So, bringing me back to an overall point, which sort of rounds back to our process and how we do things here at Carrington's, and we urge the rest of the market to do the same, agents, sellers alike. When you are looking at the listing price of your property and where the value lies, it's really, really simple, and it's what we do, is we make sure that we do not overvalue a property by 5, 10, £50,000, because as soon as you shift to the higher range of values, and you start attracting only people that are interested who are not under offer or need to sell, you're dealing with hypotheticals and probably unrealistic figures which will never come to fruition. It will only disappoint everyone involved, it costs money, time. You want to make sure that when you're listing your property that you've captured the whole market and you're encouraging offers from the whole marketplace, and more importantly, as we've done, you want to make sure that your cash and chain-free buyers are competing against the rest of the market and hopefully paying you the best value of money. Can you get these 2 buyers to pay a premium price? That's it.